10 yards to take me round the first elbow of the path. For my foot was heavy and gave me fierce pain to drag, though I tried to mask it from Elzevir. And he, forgetting what I suffered, cried out, "Quicken thy pace, lad, if thou canst. The time is short." Now, so frail is man's temper, that though he was doing more than any ever did to save another's life, and was all I had to trust to in the world, yet, because he forgot my pain and bade me quicken, my choler rose, and I nearly gave him back an angry word, but thought better of it, and kept it in. Then he told me to stop, for that the way grew wider, and he would pick me up again. But here was another difficulty, for the path was still so narrow, and the cliff wall so close that he could not take me up in his arms. So I lay flat on my face, and he stepped over me, setting his foot between my shoulders to do it. And then, while he knelt down upon the path, I climbed up from behind him, putting my arms round his neck, and so he bore me pickaback. I shut my eyes firm again, and thus we moved along another spell, mounting still and feeling the wind still freshening. At length he said that we were come to the last turn of the path, and he must set me down once more. So down upon his knees and hands he went, and I slid off behind onto the ledge. Both were on all fours now, Elzevir first and I following. But as I crept along, I relaxed care for a moment, and my eyes wandered from the cliffside and looked down. And far below, I saw the blue sea twinkling like a dazzling mirror, and the gulls wheeling about the sheer chalk wall. And then I thought of that bloated carcass of a sheep that had fallen from this very spot, perhaps, and in an instant felt a sickening qualm and swimming of the brain, and knew that I was giddy and must fall. Then I called out to Elzevir, and he, guessing what had come over me, cries to turn upon my side and press my belly to the cliff. And how he did it in such a narrow strait I know not, but he turned round, and lying down himself, thrust his hand firmly in my back, pressing me closer to the cliff. Yet it was none too soon, for if he had not held me tight, I should have flung myself down in sheer despair to get quit of that dreadful sickness. "Keep thine eyes shut, John," he said, "and count up numbers loud to me, that I may know thou art not turning faint." So I gave out 1, 2, 3, and while I went on counting, heard him repeating to himself, though his words seemed thin and far off. "We must have taken 10 minutes to get here, and in 5 more they will be on the undercliff. And if we ever reach the top, who knows but they have left a guard? No, they will not leave a guard, for not a man knows of the zigzag. And if they knew, they would not guess that we should try it. We have but 50 yards to go to win, and now this cursed giddy fit has come upon the child, and he will fall and drag me with him, or they will see us from below and pick us off like sitting guillemots against the cliff face." So he talked to himself, and all the while I would have given a world to pluck up heart and creep on farther, yet could not for the deadly sweating fear that had hold of me. Thus I lay with my face to the cliff and Elzevir pushing firmly in my back. And the thing that frightened me most was that there was nothing at all for the hand to take hold of. For had there been a piece of string, or even a thread of cotton, stretched along to give a semblance of support, I think I could have done it. But there was only the cliff wall, sheer and white, against that narrowest way, with never a cranny to put a finger into. The wind was blowing in fresh puffs, and though I did not open my eyes, I knew that it was moving the little tufts of bent grass, and the chiding cries of the gulls seemed to invite me to be done with fear and pain and broken leg, and fling myself off onto the rocks below. Then Elzevir spoke. "John," he said, "there is no time to play the woman. Another minute of this, and we are lost. Pluck up thy courage, keep thy eyes to the cliff, and forward." Yet I could not, but answered, I cannot. If I open my eyes, or move hand or foot, I shall fall on the rocks below." He waited a second and then said, "Nay, move thou must, and 'tis better to risk falling now than fall for certain with another bullet in thee later on." And with that he shifted his hand from my back and fixed it in my coat collar, moving backwards himself and setting to drag me after him. Now I was so besotted with fright that I would not budge an inch, fearing to fall over if I opened my eyes. And Elzevir, for all he was so strong, could not pull a helpless lump backwards up that path. So he gave it up, leaving go hold on me with a groan, and at that moment there rose from the undercliff below a sound of voices and shouting. "Zounds, they are down already," cried Elzevir, "and have found Maskew's body. It is all up. Another minute, and they will see us." But so strange is the force of mind on body, and the power of a greater to master a lesser fear, that when I heard those voices from below, all fright of falling left me in a moment, and I could open my eyes without a trace of giddiness. So I began to move forward again on hands and knees. And Elzevir, seeing me, thought for a moment I had gone mad and was dragging myself over the cliff, but then saw how it was, and moved backwards himself before me, saying in a low voice, "Brave lad, once creep round this turn, and I will pick thee up again. There is but 50 yards to go, and we shall foil these devils yet." Then we heard the voices again, but farther off and not so loud, and knew that our pursuers had left the undercliff and turned down to the beach, thinking that we were hiding by the sea. 5 minutes later, Elzevir stepped onto the cliff top with me upon his back. "We have made something of this throw," he said, "and are safe for another hour, though I thought thy giddy head had ruined us." Then he put me gently upon the springing turf, and lay down himself upon his back, stretching his arms out straight on either side, and breathing hard to recover from the task he had performed. End of chapter 10, part 1.